Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
The one thing you can't do on television is pretend to be somebody else. You know, so you can be great looking, you can be not so great looking, you can be smart, not so smart, just be who you are, because people see that.
There's no doubt that Jerry Springer was always himself, and we all saw that. Welcome to DBL. It is a sad day here. That clip was Jerry actually on our show back in September, and he was giving us advice as we kicked off our 6th season, and now today we are honoring our dear friend. Jerry passed away today after a brief battle with cancer at his home in Chicago. He was 79 years old. Jerry was a lawyer who served as mayor of Cincinnati in the late 70s, and that was all before his hit TV show, The Jerry Springer Show, which began in 1991. It was a massive success, even becoming the first show in a decade to top Oprah in the ratings. It aired for a remarkable 27 years before it ended in 2018, and there was never a dull moment. Take a look.
Let's take a look at the best fights.
Jerry is survived by his daughter, Katie Springer, his sister, Evelyn, and his wife, Mickey. Sam, you, of all of us, knew him probably the best. How do you feel when you heard the news, and how are you feeling now?
It's a shock. He used to come join us on Dr. Drew, and I used to work on that show, and then he joined us here. You know, it's no secret that our senior executive producer is Bert Dubrow, who helped develop and create Jerry Springer alongside Jerry Springer. And so it just goes to show how he builds friendships, right? He keeps friendships. He's very loyal. And hands down, the smartest man I've ever met. Like, so smart.
That's what was remarkable about when I saw him.
And Erica, you met him a long time ago.
Yeah,
like,
so I think
decades.
The way that we even talked about this, you know, there was so much sadness when we found out this morning. Like, I really felt like a member of our family had passed away. And then, you know, there's this sadness, and then we watch these clips and we're all like, you know, and that's kind of like, I mean, the dichotomy of Jerry Springer, in my opinion. When I was an intern at a radio station in Chicago in the year 2000, Jerry lived in the building where our studio was at, so I would see him all the time. And there's this story about how I would go out and pick up this package, and he was like, don't let them tell you to pick up packages as an intern and all this stuff. And then the last time I saw him in Chicago, I was on my way to the NSYNC concert to interview the band, and he was like, ask Justin, and then he's like, I don't have any questions. You know, like, and I was like, okay, and I was like running out the door. So I always told him, like, you should come on our show when I was on, because I would see him once a week in Chicago. And so when we got here and he was on the show, it's like, that's such a full circle moment.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, what an absolute legend, icon, and people are saying that he was controversial, and I understand everyone's feelings about that. But I really felt like, especially the last time he was here, he was really speaking to the legacy that he wanted to leave and his part in pop culture. And I felt that a lot.
I mean, you're talking about the legacy that he wanted to leave, and that's what I was thinking about this morning. And ironically, it wasn't just talking to Jerry. It was when we had Steve Wilkos on as a surprise. And when we popped Steve on, Jerry did not know we were going to have Steve on. That was the surprise we had for him. And seeing how happy, there's certain things that you can't act. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many Academy Awards you have. He was so, I was looking right at him as he came on the screen, and the joy that he had seeing Steve, and then hearing Steve talk about how he changed his life. Like, that's his legacy. Steve Wilkos is a household name. He was like, I was just a cop. And who knew that all of this was inside of Steve Wilkos, except for Jerry, because he took the time to talk to him. And we see celebrities all the time that just, hold my things, and excuse me, sir, open that door. They don't talk to anybody. They don't care about anybody. It's all about them. Jerry never wanted to talk about him. He always wanted to talk about somebody else. He always wanted to talk about his wife, talk about his grandkids. And I think a lot about you, Jeff, when I think about the legacy we want to leave as fathers and as men. And no matter what happens on this screen, when we go home, that's our real job, is to be the man that we want to steward our family forward to the next generation. And he was that. And 79 years wasn't enough. That's me being selfish. I would have been down with another 20 for sure. But what a life.
Yeah, and quickly, speaking about full circle, I grew up in Chicago too. That ticket was so hot growing up. I had to go to Jenny Jones because I couldn't get a ticket to Jerry Springer.
But you never got in?
No, I never got in, so I went to Jenny Jones. But talk about full circle, him being on this panel, my boss now being Bert Dubrow, who produced that show. It's just crazy to me, and I know I want to get Tori's thought too, but Jerry sat right here and during the commercial breaks gave like the best compliments to us. And he goes, you got something good here, man. You know, like, Jerry Springer's controversial, but that's not who he was.
No.
It was his final thoughts as who he was that we discussed. And this is TV. Sometimes we disagree, sometimes we put on a show, sometimes we do things for the camera, and that's what Jerry did. And this is a business, but what he told me will forever be in my heart.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at actually some stuff he said on our show. We have it. It meant a lot to all of us. Take a look.
It has been so much fun being with you. You have a great show here. This will be a national hit. I'm telling you, you've got that talent. You guys are great.
When he said that, I could feel all of us rise.
What about when
just rise.
Can you talk about how you two both did the presidents?
It's really weird. I didn't know he was such a political nerd wonk. I knew he was mayor. I knew he was smart. But he and I would, when we were sitting next to each other, just talk politics. And we talked about Jewish things. And he did all the presidents, and I did all the presidents, and we timed it. And there's something very special about someone who takes value in that historical context. And he and I just had a wink with each other of, you're a nerd, I see you.
Right.
And it was lovely, and it was special. And that was another facet of him that I think not a lot of people always see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, his final thoughts were always what he wrote. If you wanted to take a look at what Jerry and who he was, watch his final thoughts because they came straight from his heart. I'm so sorry to our executive producer. They were very, very close. Our thoughts are going out to the Dubrow family, of course. And coming up on DBL, Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon are both opening up about getting fired from their networks, what is next for them, and our interview with the very funny and charming David Arquette. He's telling us all about his dark, new comedy series.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
I just couldn't hear anything.
We are on.
Hi guys.
Yeah, still in shock with the Jerry thing. We learned about it this morning on our morning meeting, and I don't know about you guys. It was one of those things where now I will remember where I was because we do the morning meeting. I'm usually, if I haven't worked out, which I did not this morning, you know, I'm kind of groggy listening to it start my day, and just to hear that, I feel like I've stayed in that moment even right up until now. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, like we're still trying to go through the day normally, but it's not working.
Because I think when we're talking morning meeting stuff, a lot of times it's very casual because the assumption is we already are like abreast of what's happening. I hadn't heard that Jerry had passed away, so when it was like said, it took me a minute to process, so much so that I actually choked on one of my vitamins, like you know how it gets lodged in your throat. So I won't forget that, and then I was like, oh, that's just, okay. Like the joke, man. Like, you know, so yeah, it's been an emotional morning.
Yeah. I didn't know, I had no idea either, and I was making like breakfast and they said that in a meeting. I was like, oh my God. I went to run out to the garage because my wife was taking my kids to school, and she came back in to get her keys. I'm like, Jerry Springer died. And she's like, what? And I was like, oh man. I don't know. It hit me different just because we kicked off this season with him, and he seemed fine when he was here and just had nothing but great things to say.
He just seems so alive.
Yeah.
It's always a shock when someone passes and then you reflect back on the last time you spoke with them, and there's so much life there. And it reminds you just how tomorrow is not promised. And I will say this, with Jerry, as all of us, because he changed the landscape of television, we all saw him as this celebrity. But when you meet him, there's zero ego.
For sure.
None. Right.
Welcome back. Of course, change of gears here. The reason for Tucker Carlson's quick exit from Fox News is trickling out. Reports say that it all came down to private text messages, some including vulgar languages Tucker sent insulting his bosses at the network. Those messages were part of the Dominion lawsuit, but were redacted and none of us saw it. They were not revealed to the public. But Fox executives learned of them, sealing Tucker's fate just before Fox News settled the defamation case. Now Tucker is finally speaking out. Let's take a look at Tucker.
When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
So what do you think of Tucker said? I do want to say again, they settled because they found out that Tucker had lied. So when he speaks about where the truth is, that is itself hypocritical and wrong. And I can't just sit there and take that. I hope he does well. Where do you guys think he'll go? But I have a problem with Tucker Carlson speaking on the truth when he is such a person that stomps on that and has just been shown that in court.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because we always look for a reason for somebody's dismissal, especially somebody of his stature. I mean, really, even though he came up behind other large figures at Fox, maybe the biggest conservative voice that we've had in our adult lifetimes, and for him to be so fired so unceremoniously, it makes me think that there was something, because the text messages that were released already were super embarrassing.
Yeah.
So the idea that there was more text messages that were redacted, which everything will eventually be leaked, would be so embarrassing that they had to act right then on the eve of trial. They must have seen something that they were like, this cannot see the light of day because it might implement us further in more litigation.
Meantime, also, we are getting reports, thank you for that, that Don Lemon walked the red carpet at Times 100 Gala, and he talked about what's next for him after he was terminated by CNN earlier this week. Let's take a look at that.
I am excited for a new chapter because I think, you know, life is short, and you have to, whatever life hands you, you have to bob and weave and do it. I live my life with no regrets, and whatever I did, and I own. And so, no, I don't look back, and I don't want to change things in the past.
Erica, what do you think about what he said?
I agree with him. I mean, honestly, I envy that position.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, no one wants to get fired and no one wants to be like sent out to pass with no warning. But as he goes on to say in that interview that he is okay. He doesn't need to get a job right away. He wants to potentially do something in the future, but he's going to spend his time with his family and his friends. And he was like, I'm going to be on the boat. I'm going to be on the beach for the summer. I'm not going to worry about this. And like, sometimes, like, he's been there for 17 years. I still don't understand the content. I really don't understand what it was that made him be fired.
Yeah.
However, if that's going to happen, having a nice life to enjoy after 17 years of a full grind feels like the pot at the end of the rainbow to me.
I think with Don Lemon, listen, I spent a lot of time with Don on his show in my mid-30s, and he's a very relaxed guy outside of being behind the desk. And, you know, he's also very opinionated. And that's kind of the role he played at CNN. CNN has new leadership. And they do not want to be opinionated anymore. They want to be very centrist, and they want to be very news-focused only.
Okay.
And so I think the loyalty of the old leadership is gone. They're not there anymore. With this new vision, it was very easy, whether it was right or wrong, it was very easy for them to see that Don does not fit their new structure or their new brand.
That's good. That's very good subtext that we didn't know about. We'll keep letting you know what's happening with Don. Coming up on DBL, though, we're talking with the adorable, and I say that with the best intentions, David Arquette. He was fabulous. He's a dark, new comedy series about a nun battling artificial intelligence. Stay tuned for that.
Sounds like that was written by artificial intelligence.
Over the past few years, several politicians on social media have claimed fentanyl is the leading cause of death for Americans 18 to 45. Data from Google Trends shows many people are wondering if that's true. So, let's verify. Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and Families Against Fentanyl. We want to tell you up front that this claim needs context because the CDC doesn't track the number of people who die from fentanyl. Many of the posts cite a 2021 report from Families Against Fentanyl, a nonprofit that raises awareness about fentanyl. When we looked through their report, we found it was based on an analysis of accidental drug overdose data collected by the CDC. We then attempted to recreate the analysis by using the same CDC database. We found that in 2020, more than 35,000 people aged 18 to 45 died from drug overdoses caused by synthetic narcotics. This is more than any other leading cause of death, like suicides, car accidents, or cancer. However, the CDC tells Verify this doesn't mean the agency concluded that fentanyl is the leading cause of death for this age group. This is because fentanyl is just one type of synthetic narcotic, and the CDC's database doesn't differentiate between fentanyl and other synthetic drugs. Although a spokesperson acknowledges fentanyl deaths likely make up the majority of those deaths because previous work has shown that fentanyl comprises approximately 90% of the synthetic narcotics category. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. What happens when a nun seeks revenge against an AI while on a quest to find the Holy Grail? I feel like I'm on acid. Well, in the new series, Mrs. Davis, the answer might be even stranger than you think. Earlier, we spoke with the one and only David Arquette about this new show and some of the best advice he's gotten throughout his career. It's a terrific interview. Take a look. David Arquette, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
We love you. Mr. Arquette, so many things. All right, let me ask you this. Mrs. Davis is tackling faith and technology, and I want to get your take on all the AI advancements we're seeing in the last few months. I looked up, We Didn't Start the Fire, and had AI do it for 2023, and within 30 seconds, I had a whole new Billy Joel song. It's weird, but are you scared, or do you like it?
I don't know. There's something unknown and a little scary about it. I don't really use it that much. I haven't downloaded it on my phone because I don't know how much power it's going to have to, like, I don't know, go into my phone or whatever. But I don't know. When we were doing this thing, it was about AI, and we had heard about AI, but it wasn't sort of live like it is now.
Right.
And now it's live, and now this show's coming out. So it does have another kind of scary element. But I think technology in general is pretty good. I believe in science, and I hope we just follow our better angels in all these new technological advances.
I've never met anyone as cute as this person.
Are you crushing me?
Yeah, it's very cute.
Oh my gosh, David. We apologize.
We really do apologize.
No, I meant he's
Cute too. Everyone's cute there.
We're all cute.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Damon
I'm telling
Lindelof
you.
co-created this show. I'm sorry, now I feel weird. Co-created this show, and all his projects like Lost and The Leftovers are shrouded in mystery. How much do you know about what's happening in the show while you are making it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really complicated show. It's really big, and it's an action drama, but it has these elements of heart. And Betty Gilpin is just such an incredible lead in this. I play her father in it, a character named Monty, who's a magician.
Yes.
And, I make a lot of, bad parenting moves that create trauma in her past that she has to deal with. I got to work opposite Elizabeth Marvel too, so I was just in awe of how talented they were. Really excited.
I love it. Right up my alley. But I also love the Scream movies. So I have to ask you this, because I heard that you admitted to having major FOMO watching the new Scream movie after your character was killed in the last one. Sorry, spoiler alert. What did you like the most about playing that character Dewey for so many years? Such a beloved character.
Oh man, what I loved most was working with Wes Craven. Was just a dream come true. He was so talented. But then playing the role, I just love the fact that he was a police officer that got no respect. A point of authority, and he just can't get any respect, and he tries really hard, and he fails a lot. I don't know. There was some humorous symbolism there that I really appreciated.
Well, you mentioned Wes Craven there, so I got to ask you. You said that he gave you some incredible advice on the set of your first movie that, like, really just changed the trajectory of your life. Can you tell us what that advice was?
Yeah, my mother was dying at the time, so I was going through a really hard time. And he was like, David, I just really want to see you get your stuff together so that you can thrive. I know Courtney at the time loved you, likes you, and I really would like to see you guys work something out. And just through that, I got my life together a lot more and made the relationship work, and then ended up, with our beautiful 18-year-old daughter, Coco.
She's 18.
And then, yeah, she's 18 now. So, yeah, it's been a real gift to be able to have worked with him and worked with Courtney, and then obviously to have Coco and my two other kids, Charlie and Gus.
David, we are always so excited to see what you're working on. Congratulations. You always keep us on our toes. DBL Nation, check out Mrs. Davis Thursdays on Peacock for more mystery and magic from David. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
So nice.
Great speaking to you guys.
Next for us tonight, Verify is looking into new rules that lay out which electric car owners are eligible for tax credits. This is related to President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. One of the measures designed to address climate change includes a $7,500 tax credit for people who buy electric vehicles. There was already such a credit on the books, but this law changes which cars are eligible. A lot of viewers have asked what this could mean for them. So let's verify. Are all electric vehicles eligible for the new tax credit? Our sources: the full text of the Inflation Reduction Act, the 2008 law that created the old tax credit, and the IRS. So the previous EV tax credit had a significant limitation. Only 200,000 credits were available to each manufacturer. Once that number was hit, no more buyers could get the credit for that brand of car. The new law removes that cap. Good news for popular makes like Tesla that haven't been eligible for years. But there are a lot of new restrictions as well. First, only cars that are assembled in North America are eligible. Consumer Reports says that rules out companies that make their EVs abroad, like Hyundai, Toyota, and Kia. Second, the change rules out the most expensive models. Trucks, vans, and SUVs are only eligible if they cost $80,000 or less. Sedans and other cars have to be under $55,000. That rules out some popular luxury vehicles like the Tesla Model S and Porsche Taycan. Third, there's an income cap on taxpayers. Couples have to earn $300,000 a year or less to get the credit. Individuals, $150,000 or less. And finally, there are requirements about where the EV batteries are made and where the minerals in them get mined. There's a list of companies, including a bunch in China, that automakers are banned from contracting with at all. And in the first year this law takes effect, 2023, at least 40% of the minerals and 50% of the other components in the battery must come from the U.S. or its free trade partners. Those percentages will go up each year. If the company hits one percentage mark but not the other, their cars can be eligible for half credit. So while the Inflation Reduction Act does expand the EV tax credit, we can verify no, not all electric vehicles are eligible. And the government just announced which cars qualify this year. On the list, certain models of Tesla, Ford, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Chrysler, Lincoln, Jeep, and Volkswagen. A few dozen cars in all, including 6 plug-in hybrids. All but 8 of these qualified for the full credit. To see if your car specifically makes the cut, you can go to fueleconomy.gov.
One of the most popular events on the NFL calendar kicks off tonight. Let's connect the dots. Before the annual draft, players were free to sign with any team. This tended to make the stronger teams even stronger, creating an imbalance across the league. The first draft, all the way back in 1936, had 9 rounds. That was expanded to 10 rounds and then 20 rounds. In the decades since, the draft has evolved into what we see today. 3 days, 7 rounds, 224 picks. Now, one of the most popular events on the NFL calendar, and has proven its value in building and sustaining successful franchises. And that is connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. We've got some amazing products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. Steph, what do you have for us today? I'm ready to shop.
Hi, Tori. Hey, DBL Nation. We are so excited to show off all the deals today. First up, we've got our happy 1,500 square foot True HEPA air purifier.
Oh, whoa.
So this deal includes one air purifier that will be great to help you out with allergy season.
Just kidding.
So, Tori, this is normally $399. We've got it for $119.99. So that is saving up to 70%.
Great present to get someone in a new home.
Now, Tori, this one is right up your alley. It's the 2-pack Dancing Flame Tiki Torches with solar charging LED lights.
I'm buying this.
So this deal includes 2 tiki torches that will be perfect to get your outdoor space ready for entertaining. So normally these are $24 each.
That's not bad, actually.
We've got a 2-pack for $20, Tori. So that's saving up to 58%.
That's fabulous for summer.
Now, check out this. We've got the 2-pack Neolastin Lash Follicle Fortifying Serum with Elastaplex Pearl.
Oh, whoa.
So if lash extensions are not your thing, which they are not for me, this is amazing. It's the vegan serum, perfect for you. So normally it is $79.
Oh, no.
We've got a 2-pack for $19.99.
Yes.
So that's saving up to 75%.
Lashes without any other makeup will make you face.
Now check out, this is our last product today, Tori. It's the 2-pack Royal Borough Cotton Grommeted Window Panels.
Oh, beautiful.
So this deal includes 2 window panels that will add elegance and warmth to any room. So normally these are $59 to $69.
Right.
But we've got a 2-pack for just $24.99.
I was so hoping you say 2-pack.
That's saving 64%.
Great price. Guys, head on over to morningsave.com. Snag all these amazing deals at, as you heard, the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code. It's right on screen, and it will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Could not be easier. Thank you so much, Steph. So we got a lot of comments. Speaking of Jerry, Heather wrote he definitely changed daytime television.
I mean, absolutely. He entertained millions for decades, and that's very hard to do, and you got to be controversial to do it.
It's very true. Now, in honor of Jerry Springer today, we're ending our show with this very famous send-off, and we mean it. Take care of yourself and each other. We'll miss you, Jerry.
Love you, Jerry.
Love you.